Good afternoon. My name's John Price. I'm District Commander for the Canterbury Police District. First of all, I would like to say the sudden death of these three young people is an absolute tragedy. So on behalf of the New Zealand Police, I would like to extend my sympathies and my sincere condolences to the families affected. As you all know, late last night, 3 people died on Blenheim Road after fleeing from police in the Christchurch city. The fleeing vehicle, we know, crashed into a tree, rupturing the fuel tank, and caught fire after a short pursuit moments earlier. The result of that is captured in the picture beside me. 3 people, believed to be aged in their teens, died at the scene, despite our officers' immediate efforts to try and save their lives. I just want to reassure the public and our community that no officer wants an incident like this to happen. I've spoken to the officers involved today, and they are absolutely devastated by what has happened. They attempted to rescue the driver and the passengers from the vehicle, but sadly this was not possible due to the intense heat and fire. The officers have received medical treatment as a result of their attempts to try and rescue the group, and we have offered them welfare support. I can say these officers did not come to work yesterday to do anything but keep our community safe. And this is not the result that they or we wanted at all. These sort of incidents are always challenging. We know they are dynamic, they happen extremely fast, and they are complex events for police staff to deal with. Our focus as a police organisation is always preventing harm and keeping people safe on our roads. Police always face a difficult challenge, a balance from protecting the public from dangerous driving behaviour and potentially causing the offending drivers to take greater risks. I can confirm that the vehicle was stolen. It had been stolen that night and was travelling at dangerous speeds and through red lights. In this event, the officers identified this dangerous behaviour that posed serious risk to the public and took this into consideration before acting. Police staff always assess the risk of pursuing fleeing drivers and take every decision very seriously. This is continually reassessed throughout the fleeing driver event. Police prefer that anyone who is signalled to stop, stop. Pull over and stop. It is not worth putting their lives, the lives of others road users, passengers, or anyone else's life at risk. The circumstances surrounding the pursuit and the crash are under investigation, and I am unable to release any further details, but I can reassure you this event will be investigated thoroughly, both by senior investigators here in Canterbury and by the Independent Police Conduct Authority. At this early stage, we will not be releasing further details on the 3 people who died. We are currently working to inform all next of kin, and our priority is that they are informed and supported before we let the public know their identities. Due to the nature of the crash, we have instigated our disaster victim identification team, and they're working through that process to make sure the process and the identification is done correctly. Once again, I would like to extend my sincere condolences to the families concerned. As a police officer and a parent of children, I am devastated by this needless loss. I'll now take questions.
How fast were they travelling when police decided to pursue the car?
The initial period of time, I understand it was potentially in excess of 130 kilometres per hour.
Okay, and how long did police pursue them?
My understanding at this stage, and this is all part of the investigation, but the initial pursuit lasted for just over a minute.
Okay, and whereabouts was that? Up Morehouse Ave and onto...
Yes, it was up Morehouse Ave. At that stage, the officers involved in the initial pursuit abandoned that pursuit. They then entered into an inquiry phase, and subsequently the vehicle was then relocated driving down Blenheim Road.
Can you run us through the decision to put the spikes out?
The decision to put the spikes out is not my decision, it's a decision made by the officers, and those officers normally apply our risk assessment, which is known as 10R. It's a methodology we use to ensure we look at the threats, the necessity and the response, and I'm confident that these officers have gone about to do that.
And how are the police officers doing today?
Yeah, look, these officers both are devastated. You can imagine they were trying to stop someone from harming themselves or harming other members of the public on our roads. The vehicle has then left the road. We understand it has hit a tree. The fuel tank has been dislodged, and as a result of that the tank ruptured and the pursuing fire has commenced. There has been a ball of fire, we know this from CCTV coverage, and as a result of that you can see the damage that was done to the vehicle. What I can say is both officers went directly to the vehicle. They did their very best to try to remove the occupants from that vehicle, but unfortunately they were unsuccessful.
And they were injured in doing that?
They were injured in doing that, and we gave them medical treatment, and they're at home recuperating at the minute.
What sort of road spikes were used? Were they the new ones, the stingers?
I understand they were the new stingers, yes.
So would this be the first fatal accident using them?
I'm not too sure about that, to be honest. What I can say is that that's all part of the investigation that will go on. Obviously the road spikes have been seized as part of the investigation, and we'll be examining those. They will form part of the evidential requirements for that investigation.
How far after the car has hit the spikes has it collided? Has it been simultaneous, or?
Look, I would estimate that I visited the scene last night, obviously, to make sure our staff were okay, and also to just ascertain. I would say there was a short distance from where the road spikes were executed through to where the vehicle has then left the road, gone into hit the tree and gone into that car park area.
And does it appear at this stage whether the impact of the crash resulted in the loss of life, or was it the subsequent events from after the crash?
That'll be all part of the reconstruction side of it, but obviously what we do know is that the car has caught fire, and we do know that the petrol tank was ruptured, and that would be potentially the initial indications of the cause of death.
Where was the vehicle stolen from?
It was stolen from an address in Christchurch overnight.
Do you know if the driver had a licence?
Sorry, no, I don't at the minute, no. We do know that they are young people and they are teenagers, and I do know that this is absolutely a tragedy for anyone. When we lose a young person in our community, there are no winners. You know, I've got staff now that are hurting, we've got families that are hurting, and our community will hurting.
One more question.
Can you confirm the ages of the deceased?
I can't confirm the ages. We will do that as soon as we can. I would like to be able to give you those details, but with the disaster victim identification process, it's got to be very thorough. You can imagine we've got 3 deceased persons in that burnt out wreck. We require forensic capability. either through fingerprinting or DNA to establish that, and we want to make sure we've got that right. We've got families who are waiting to hear, and we want to make sure it's done correctly.
That you think you know who they are?
We have a good idea who they possibly are from items found at the scene and other indicators there.
And what sort of car is it?
That is a Mazda Familia. It's a 2000 and it's white.
And it was stolen what suburb?
I can't confirm the suburb, but it was stolen in Christchurch on that evening.